Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, December 15th, and we are headed back into The Little Prince. So yesterday we got to meet one of The Little Prince's neighbors near the asteroid where he lives, and now we're going to meet the rest. So I shall begin. The second planet was inhabited by a conceited man. Ah! I am about to receive a visit from an admirer, he exclaimed from afar when he first saw the little prince coming. For, to conceited men, all other men are admirers. Good morning, said the little prince. That is a queer hat you are wearing. It is a hat for salutes, the conceited man replied. It is to raise in salute when people acclaim me. Unfortunately, nobody at all ever passes this way. Yes, said the little prince, who did not understand what the conceited man was talking about. Clap your hands, one against the other, the conceited man now directed him. The little prince clapped his hands. The conceited man raised his hat in a modest salute. This is more entertaining than the visit to the king, the little prince said to himself. And he began again to clap his hands one against the other. The conceited man again raised his hat in salute. After 5 minutes of this exercise, the little prince grew tired of the game's monotony. And what should one do to make the hat come down? He asked. But the conceited man did not hear him. Conceited people never hear anything but praise. Do you really admire me very much? He demanded of the little prince. What does that mean, admire? To admire means that you regard me as the handsomest, the best dressed, the richest, and the most intelligent man on the planet. But you are the only man on this planet. Do me this kindness. Admire me just the same. I admire you, said the little prince, shrugging his shoulders slightly. But what is there in that to interest you so much? And the little prince went away. The grown-ups are certainly very odd, he said to himself as he continued on his journey. The next planet was inhabited by a tippler. This was a very short visit, but it plunged the little prince into deep dejection. What are you doing there? He said to the tippler, whom he found settled down in silence before a collection of empty bottles and also a collection of full bottles. I am drinking, replied the tippler with a lugubrious air. Why are you drinking? Demanded the little prince. So that I may forget, replied the tippler. Forget what? Inquired the little prince, who already was sorry for him. Forget that I am ashamed, the tippler confessed, hanging his head. Ashamed of what? Insisted the little prince, who wanted to help him. Ashamed of drinking! The tippler brought his speech to an end and shut himself up in an impregnable silence. And the little prince went away puzzled. The grown-ups are certainly very, very odd, he said to himself as he continued on his journey. The fourth planet belonged to a businessman. This man was so much occupied that he did not even raise his head at the little prince's arrival. Good morning, the little prince said to him. Your cigarette's gone out. 3 and 2 make 5, 5 and 7 make 12, 12 and 3 make 15. Good morning. 15 and 7 make 22, 22 and 6 make 28. I haven't time to light it again. 26 and 5 make 31. Phew! Then that makes 501,622,731. 500 million what? Asked the little prince. Are you still there? 501 million. I can't stop. I have so much to do. I am concerned with matters of consequence. I don't amuse myself with balderdash. 2 and 5 make 7. 501 million what? Repeated the little prince, who never in his life had let go of a question once he had asked it. The businessman raised his head. During the 54 years that I have inhabited this planet, I have been disturbed only 3 times. The first time was 22 years ago, when some giddy goose fell from goodness knows where. He made the most frightful noise that resounded all over the place, and I made 4 mistakes in my addition. The second time, 11 years ago, I was disturbed by an attack of rheumatism. I don't get enough exercise. I have no time for loafing. The third time, well, this is it. As I was saying then, 501 million, millions of what? The businessman suddenly realized that there was no hope of being left in peace until he answered the question. Millions of those little objects, he said, which one sometimes sees in the sky. Flies? Oh, no, little glittering objects. Bees? Oh, no. Little golden objects that set lazy men to idle dreaming. As for me, I am concerned with matters of consequence. There is no time for idle dreaming in my life. Ah, you mean the stars? Yes, that's it, the stars. And what do you do with 500 millions of stars? 501,622,731. I am concerned with matters of consequence. I am accurate. And what do you do with these stars? What do I do with them? Yes. Nothing. I own them. You own the stars? Yes. But I've already seen a king who... Kings do not own. They reign over. It is a very different matter. And what good does it do you to own the stars? It does me the good of making me rich. And what good does it do you to make you rich? It makes it possible for me to buy more stars, if there are any discovered. This man, the little prince said to himself, reasons a little bit like my poor tippler. Nevertheless, he still had some more questions. How is it possible for one to own the stars? To whom do they belong? The businessman retorted peevishly. I don't know. To nobody? Then they belong to me, because I was the first person to think of it. Is that all that is necessary? Certainly. When you find a diamond that belongs to nobody, it is yours. When you discover an island that belongs to nobody, it is yours. When you get an idea before anyone else, you take out a patent on it, it is yours. So with me, I own the stars, because nobody else before me ever thought of owning them. Yes, that's true, said the little prince. And what do you do with them? I administer them, replied the businessman. I count them and recount them. It is difficult. But I am a man who is naturally interested in matters of consequence. The little prince was still not satisfied. If I owned a silk scarf, he said, I would put it around my neck and take it away with me. If I owned a flower, I could pluck that flower and take it away with me. But you cannot pluck the stars from heaven. No, but I can put them in the bank. Whatever does that mean? That means that I write the number of my stars on a little paper, and then I put this paper in a drawer and lock it with a key. And that's all? That is enough, said the businessman. It is entertaining, thought the little prince. It is rather poetic, but it is of no great consequence. On matters of consequence, the little prince had ideas which were very different from those of the grown-ups. I myself own a flower, he continued his conversation with the businessman, which I water every day. I own 3 volcanoes, which I clean out every week, for I also clean out the one that is extinct. One never knows. It is of some use to my volcanoes, and it is of some use to my flower that I own them. But you are of no use to the stars. The businessman opened his mouth, but he found nothing to say in answer, and the little prince went away. The grown-ups are certainly altogether extraordinary, he said simply, talking to himself as he continued on his journey. The 5th planet was very strange. It was the smallest of all. There was just enough room on it for a street lamp and a lamplighter. The little prince was not able to reach any explanation of the use of a street lamp and a lamplighter somewhere in the heavens on a planet which had no people and not one house. But he said to himself, nevertheless, "It may well be that this man is absurd. But he is not so absurd as the king, the conceited man, the businessman, and the tippler. For at least his work has some meaning. When he lights his street lamp, it is as if he brought one more star to life, or one flower. When he puts out his lamp, he sends the flower or the star to sleep. That is a beautiful occupation. And since it is beautiful, it is truly useful." When he arrived on the planet, he respectfully saluted the lamplighter. "Good morning." "Why have you just put out your lamp?" "Those are the orders," replied the lamplighter. "Good morning." "What are the orders?" "The orders are that I put out my lamp. Good evening." And he lighted his lamp again. "But why have you lighted it? Why have you just lighted it again?" "Those are the orders," replied the lamplighter. "I don't understand," said the little prince. "There is nothing to understand," said the lamplighter. "Orders are orders. Good morning." And he put out his lamp. Then he mopped his forehead with a handkerchief decorated with red squares. "I follow a terrible profession. In the old days it was reasonable. I put the lamp out in the evening, I put the lamp out in the morning, and in the evening I lighted it again. I had the rest of the day for relaxation and the rest of the night for sleep." "And the orders have not been changed since that time?" "The orders have not been changed," said the lamplighter. "That is the tragedy. From year to year, the planet has turned more rapidly, and the orders have not been changed." "Then what?" asked the little prince. "Then the planet now makes a complete turn every minute, and I no longer have a single second for repose. Once every minute I have to light my lamp and put it out." "That is very funny. A day lasts only 1 minute? Here where you live?" "It is not funny at all," said the lamplighter. "While we have been talking together, a month has gone by." "A month?" "Yes, a month. 30 minutes. 30 days. Good evening." And he lighted his lamp again. As the little prince watched him, he felt that he loved this lamplighter, who was so faithful to his orders. He remembered the sunsets which he himself had gone to seek in other days, merely by pulling up his chair, and he wanted to help his friend. "You know," he said, "I can tell you a way you can rest whenever you want to." "I always want to rest," said the lamplighter. "For it is possible for a man to be faithful and lazy at the same time." The little prince went on with his explanation. "Your planet is so small that 3 strides will take you all the way around it. To be always in the sunshine, you need only walk along rather slowly. When you want to rest, you will walk, and the day will last as long as you like." "That doesn't do me much good," said the lamplighter. "The one thing I love in life is sleep." "Then you are unlucky," said the little prince. "I am unlucky," said the lamplighter. "Good morning." And he put out his lamp. "That man," said the little prince to himself as he continued farther on his journey, "that man would be scorned by all the others, by the king, by the conceited man, by the tippler, by the businessman. Nevertheless, he is the only one of them all, who does not seem to me ridiculous. Perhaps that is because he is thinking of something besides himself." He breathed a sigh of regret and said to himself again, "That man is the only one of them all whom I could have made my friend. But his planet is indeed too small. There is no room on it for two people." What the little prince did not dare confess was that he was sorry most of all to leave this planet, because it was blessed every day with 1,440 sunsets. So there we are. Oh God, I did that again. I wanted to look at what's next. Oh yes, we still have one more planet to go, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. There's one more. Well, actually, technically two. Yeah. So we've seen 5 so far, and there's 7 in total. So we shall acquaint ourselves. Oh yeah, tomorrow's good. Tomorrow's going to be fun. Yep. So tomorrow we will acquaint ourselves with the next 2 planets. Thank you so much for being here. And I repeat, this particular translation, the Katherine Woods translation, has now been out of print for 20 years. But it is still relatively easy to find because it was the only one in print for 57 years. And so where I get mine, I like to do searches on thrift books or eBay or various other merchants, because there are a lot of libraries and bookstores, but libraries in particular, who are getting rid of some of the old books in their stacks. So it's it's reasonably easy to find a copy of it. And I very unashamedly promote this translation as the best of all of them. I don't think there is any reason to read any other one. I stand firmly on that. It's very interesting to kind of read about this translation and why it gets some folks' hackles up, but even more, yes, this is the translation that my grandmother read to me as a child, but that's not the only reason why in the years hence that I am so fond of this translation. So it's interesting, and but you would be very much correct if you pointed out that it is not the original. The original, of course, is the original. So case in point, in all fairness. Anyway, I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Please stay happy. Please stay healthy. I'll see you soon.